Dungeons & Drimbus is rated R for rude language, rough violence, and raunchy humor.
I do declare, here's what happened previously on Dungeons & Drimbus. Confronted by Matron Brunt, the attorneys are asked to find a clever solution that forces the adjudicators of the trials to consider them directly. Finding Levi's notebook left behind, they read through and discover that a tournament starts tomorrow. Instead of a fight to the death, the attorneys decide to try to put their opponents to sleep as a way to please the matron before heading out to the Colosseum. I do declare, Herrera is back in session.
Squadrons, today's trial will be one of skill. You've all been proven to possess the proficiency necessary to be considered for the soldiers of the solstice. This test asks you to demonstrate not whether you belong, but whether you are more deserving of a place than your peers. We will call you down 2 squadrons at a time. Your trial will commence, and the victor will be the last squadron standing. Know that simply by entering this arena, you have displayed remarkable skill, courage, and determination, more so than most. You may use anything and everything at your disposal. We look forward to your displays of bravery, wit, and strength.
Does Jessica see a new notebook on Levi?
You think you catch what might be a notebook, perhaps hanging from a belt.
Cool.
It's a little hard to make out. He's dressed somewhat elaborately and he's floating high above, so. But then he speaks up and says,
"First up, Squadron 234 and Squadron 1.
Uh-oh.
You and the rest of the applicants watch as the 2 squadrons make their way down. Squadron 1 seems to be made of 3 mid-sized creatures. You spot a serpent-type folk, not unlike Terry, an imp with a long tail and thin, leathery wings, and a bugbear. They are all clad in silver plate armor and brandish polished, well-kept weapons that seem at home in their hands. Opposite them, as Squadron 234, is a single, hulking, horned ogre.
Whoa.
Its skin is a dark gray, brandished with whitish scars, and it is clad in pieces of rough, rusted metal that form makeshift armor. It wields a massive spiked club. Elvira leans over and says, "Holy shit, that first trial must have been cake for someone that huge."
It did kind of require some dexterity, though. Very impressive.
And as you remark that, you hear,
"May you find your way."
the torches shoot fire into the air, the horn blares. The battle begins with haste. The party of 3 immediately split. The bugbear to the left, the serpent to the right, and the imp running head-on towards the ogre as it propels up off a ruined platform and takes to the air. With a telegraphed but swift response, the ogre drags its massive club, equal if not larger than the imp's entire body, through the sand and swings up. The imp narrowly dodges left with a spiral dive, before firing 2 arrows simultaneously from a bow. The ogre brings an arm up, but both arrows find purchase in its flesh. One in its forearm and another near the collarbone as it shrugs. Shrugging off the pain, it takes large, bounding strides toward the imp, now perched upon a barrel. However, at this point, the serpent leaps out from the cover of a hunk of stone, biting into the ogre's ankle. You see he seems to take a hit from the sheer size and speed of the ogre's stride. Wasting no time, the ogre grabs the serpent by the throat and hurls it at the imp. They both go flying and tumbling into the sand. At this point, You see the bugbear has been discreetly searching through one of the crates not 10 feet from the ogre. She seems to retrieve a bottle of some kind, which she pours out onto a cloth and coats onto a silver sword. Not noticing this, the ogre continues on toward the imp and serpent, club raised in the air. They both split, again, attempting to dodge out of the way. The serpent launches a dagger through the air, which lodges itself in the ogre's pec. It winces, but trudges on with the attack, as it brings the club down without... The spiked club pierces the serpent's tail, but narrowly misses the imp. The imp notches 2 more arrows, but before it can loose them, the ogre unexpectedly drops the club and lunges forward, arms first, toward the imp. It grabs them in their big, meaty fists, one shoulder in each hand, and the imp furiously scratches and claws with its legs and tail. Undeterred, the ogre's fingers dig into its flesh and begin to pull.
Jessica looks away.
The imp lets out a blood-curdling scream as shoulders are dislocated and sinews are torn. Terry kind of winces and sinks into his seat. Perse kind of leans forward with morbid interest. But for all its protesting, the ogre does not let up, and it tears its arms, along with its wings, apart. A limbless torso falls to the ground, spouting blood. The serpent hisses in terror, unable to lift the massive club for its sheer weight. Rova! 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 As the ogre turns its blood-covered face toward the screaming reptile, the bugbear seems to freeze for a moment as it sneaks out from cover, but sees the imp's lifeless eyes. However, upon hearing the desperate pleas of its companion, Rova lifts up her coated sword and seems to mutter something under her breath. She holds a hand up with a small flame, and the sword catches fire. At this moment, the serpent's cries are cut off by the ogre's palm around its throat. They lift the serpent in one arm as they pick up the club, finally freeing the serpent's tail from the crushing weight. The snake's eyes begin to bulge as the ogre squeezes, but finally, Rova leaps into action, and in a flash, the ogre releases the serpent. Rova's now flaming sword having pierced clean through its throat. The serpent takes a breath as the bugbear stays perched, her feet on the ogre's back, hands firmly on the sword's hilt, while the ogre collapses into the sand. They share a somber smile before glancing to the imp, and then kneeling before the platform.
Squadron 1! Congratulations. You may take your seat.
Okay. During this time, Jessica has been ritual casting a spell, which will be ready in the next 4 minutes.
Okay.
So Jessica is casting telepathic bond and is creating a telepathic link amongst the party. It will not include Popcorn and Tony.
They are sitting next to you in the arena.
For the duration, the targets can communicate telepathically through the bond. Whether or not they have a common language, the communication is possible over any distance, though it can't extend to other planes of existence. And the duration will be 1 hour.
Florida man.
At this point, Perse kind of looks over and he sees Jessica like flippers, curled, legs crossed, talking almost in like quiet tongues. Mm-hmm. And he looks over and he goes, "Is your friend okay?"
Oh, yeah, that happens. I wouldn't be concerned.
Right. Are you all prepared for this? You're gonna be okay?
You know, as prepared as we can be.
It's a pretty brutal first round.
Yeah, I think that was purposeful.
Well, best of luck to you all.
And to you.
I'm curious what the horses' reactions were to the the kerfuffle.
They are staring like wide-eyed at what just happened in the fucking arena. There's kind of a little bit of sand in the arena now that people have trekked in, like as they walked up the steps and all of that. And they're playing a very anxious game of tic-tac-toe in the little bit of sand that's there.
Anxious tic-tac-toe.
And as this all happens, you watch and you see down in the pit, Rova helps the serpent up as they head back up into the arena. This takes a couple of minutes as the serpent seems to have sustained a pretty serious injury from the club. But once they get up, probably about the time Jessica finishes ritual casting, the sand begins to move. It bubbles like boiling water, and you see everything within it begin to sink and swirl and move around, including the ogre and the imp's body. They disappear into the sand as everything bubbles, and you could swear you see something white, some bone, maybe a skull, swirling in the mess of the sand. And before long, the sand settles, and the arena is in a new configuration, with the odd decaying platforms strewn about and new crates and barrels, again strewn about near the center of the arena. Right, y'all, is there anything that we should keep in mind about the arena, is there?
This is telepathic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm not moving my mouth. What the fuck?
Okay, everyone. Jessica telepathically says, I did some studying this morning and I came across this little doodad and I thought it might be useful to us to be able to chat with one another without any prying ears.
Okay, yeah, this is good. This is good. Okay. How are we all feeling? That was a little disquieting.
That was incredibly gruesome, but I am curious of what's in all of those crates. You know, that bugbear seemed to know, didn't she? Or was she just checking?
Well, it looked like she was just looking through it, and then she found something that she used.
Probably means we should stop the other team from opening those crates. They might find something that can really mess us up.
Well, there's 7 of us? There were 3 last time. There's 3 right now and 3 barrels. I guess there's enough of us for one of us to rush to them each.
I mean, also, if we act quickly enough, they may not have time to get to them.
Sure, yeah.
So, maybe the plan should be, and as you are hearing that, you hear...
Oh, God.
Squadron 203.
Fuck.
And Squadron 14. You're up.
That was fast.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
We're halfway there. This is the halftime ad with Daddy G.
Okay, Daddy G, you've got this. It's just an intimate dinner at your house with your date and your son's hamsters. No big deal. The food's nearly done. I'm mostly dressed. Maybe I just need a little spritz to freshen up. Maybe a spritz more? What is a spritz? Why are spritzes so small? Let me just gotta pop the lid off so I can use a little bit. Oh crap! Oh no, this is this is way too much. Everything's in the wash except for that one nice shirt. Oh, I know. Let me text the patrons to see if they have a nice shirt to borrow. Jerry Benetatos, Queso Loco, Greta and Beignet, Alex Escapes My Ass, Ace Andrews, Regina Russell, Sam Olivos, Jordan Cobb, The Unnamed Rogue, MB Star, Doubtful Guest, Michael Richters, Davis Walden, Danny Dewdrop, Myth Mouse, Callie Wolf, Brandon M. Bishop, Bridge, Twiglet, Joanna, Stan Sitzman, Scrambles the Death Dealer, Aaron Adams, Nathan Mesner, Ruth Thanatos, Melissa Rain, Hensational, Butts Aplenty, Normally Me, Dane Kohlhoff, Loon, Faust the Heavenly Demonic Monster, David Carlton, Tracy Baby, Elastic Band, Hoodie Gang Sheep, Luke Vermin, MV Carr, Vico Cocorico, Alyssa Barron, and Jan. Do you have a shirt I could borrow for my date? Send. Oh, wow. They all said no at once. Huh. What's that, Scruffles? A hoodie? With the updated Drimbus logo? And the updated Your Honor logo? Oh my god, these look great! They're available now at drimbus.com/merch or for free to all patrons of the Powerful Potion Seller tier or higher this month at patreon.com/drimbus. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, let me just... Oh, looks great. Thanks, Scruffles. Ooh, roast is ready.
All right, everybody just rush to a crate.
All right. Viper looks to Terry, doesn't say anything, nods, and then walks. Who would you say? Who maybe hasn't had the best luck with saving throws recently? Because I feel like I could go Grizz or
My
Monique.
guess is probably Grizabeth.
Okay. As she gets up, I take her hand and I'm like, wait, one moment. And her tattoo glows for a second. Good luck. And she uses the cantrip resistance, so Grizz will be able to add a d4 to her first saving throw.
Nice. Oh my god, thank you, Viper.
Of course.
And as you guys are shuffling out of your row, Terry unexpectedly grabs your hand, Viper.
Oh.
And then when you turn around, he lets go of the hand and just goes, "Oh, sorry, I just wanted to say good luck."
That's okay. Thank you. And she'll keep walking.
And you all make your way down. Jessica, you are currently in your penguin form, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You all step down into the arena. You see everyone looking at you. Thomas, you see Levi catches sight of you, obviously, as he's watching, and he kind of winks. And the matron is sitting there, very stern look on her face, tight-lipped. But Gary, you could almost swear that as you all look up at the platform while you're walking on the steps, you catch just the most imperceptible, tiny nod of the head.
Gary just looks determined, sternly back at her.
Can I size up Squadron 14?
Yes. Well, you all look around to see, because this is a round arena, so it's a big area. You have 100 squadrons of varying sizes here. So you're kind of looking for where Squadron 14 is coming from. And they're coming kind of in the diagonally opposite direction. Viper, you see them. Everyone sees them. But in particular, Thomas, Gary, and Jessica, you all immediately recognize Paluman.
Mother.
As coming down is a squadron of 4 Anubai.
I've been waiting for this.
Gary cracks his knuckles.
Remember, we're not gonna kill him.
Yeah, Jessica's like, no, we're not gonna hurt anyone.
This is all telepathic. So.
And just to keep everybody that may not know, that would be Paluman and a couple other Anubai from when I had a little dalliance as a judge in a court of the solstice.
Oh, so you know them?
Yeah. They won't recognize me because I was not a penguin at that point in time.
Paluman seems to bear a number of scars that you do not recall him having.
Oh, no.
What?
I have bad feelings about what happened at that courthouse after I left it behind.
Wait, before they're here, do you two know of their abilities? Can you warn us of things that they do?
Tribal spears.
They've got some basic spellcasting ability. They've got a little bit of leeway and sway with the undead due to their connection to their heritage and ancestors, and they're very martially experienced.
Okay.
And you step down into the arena, and
Good lord.
as you step down, in particular, you see Paluman is kind of cracking his neck, rolling his shoulders back. You are seeing
Gary's doing the same.
Yeah. You're seeing like these huge groups of like 4 scratch marks across the torso. You see like a long scar going up across the eye, which is kind of clouded over a little bit. And he is walking with a number of the other Anubai, which Jessica, I'm going to say with a 22, you probably remember them well enough to know it's Denoris, Meruda, and Bredensley.
What happened? Got a little claustrophobic in that pyramid?
Okay. Oh.
And as you say that, you see that Paluman looks up. He already had his eyes squinted in suspicious chihuahua face. And then the eyes kind of widen, and he grins a little like chihuahua, like snarly smile. You. Twirling his spear, he's kind of showing off a little bit and like stomping his legs, going, I have been waiting for this for a long time. Not really that long, but I have been waiting anxiously.
Bring it on, puppy.
Oh.
God.
I'll be sure to find a chew toy for you to chew on.
You hear a couple people from the stands go, ooh.
Jessica's gonna subtly like point a flipper at Paluman, cast message, and say, Hey, hi there. I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay. It's nice to see you again.
He's looking around like hearing Jessica's voice, but not seeing Jessica.
Nice. Throw him off.
Throw him off, yes.
Throw him off his game. Freak him out a little bit, you know?
Hearing Jessica's voice, but not seeing Jessica. He's like looking around like, where is she? Where are you? Show yourself.
And Jessica recasts it again to continue the conversation. Goes, I will not tell you that exactly, but hey.
Oh, God.
You will face consequences for your actions, one way or another.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Everyone kind of sees Palomon, like, looking around almost rabidly, like...
Yo, is this guy good? Oh my God.
Oh, my goodness.
He's like rabid.
And both the rest of the squadrons as well as the orcs upon the platform are looking down with interest. Clearly, something about this is personal. It's like tuning into the series finale without having watched anything. But still, it looks like it's going to be interesting.
Is there something we have to do before, like, do we have to bow or something before they start? Or
You do not, as you hear the voice of Levi reverberate out, and he says,
May you find your way.
Grace, come on!
the torches go off. Everyone please roll for initiative.
Jesus Christ.
Please. I have such a good plan. Please.
Gross.
Natural 20!
Fuck! Well, same for...
Viper's better, so give it to Viper. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my dexterity is +4, so that's 24.
Jesus.
Okay.
If that helps anything, please.
I got a 12.
A 4.
Oh, no.
19.
23.
First up is Viper.
Oh, okay. I will focus. My tattoo will glow, and I will cast Entangle. It allows grasping weeds and vines to sprout from a 20-foot square within 90 feet of me. The creatures in the area must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained.
So the horn blares. Viper immediately touches a hand down to the sand, and you see like the sand begin to pop and hop, almost like popcorn hopping. And you see this small green shoot just go out of the sand, and then a little further down, 2 green shoots, and then 4, and then 8 as they form these thick cords and vines and begin to spread out almost into a field, attempting to encircle the Anubai. What number do they have to be?
15.
Palumon is entangled.
Yes!
Denoris is super entangled. Meruda is entangled. And Bredensley is entangled.
Let's go! Oh my god!
I did not roll above an 8 for any of them.
Damn.
Okay, so they can repeat the saving throw on their next turns, but
Yeah,
they...
you see the vines shoot up their legs and they go, no! Ah! And Palomon begins like trying to strike at them with the spear going, get these off of me! No! They must pay.
Yeah, and so because they are restrained, attacks against them have advantage.
You're gonna see Palomon begin to tear at the vines and the leaves, trying to free himself. That is a 19 plus 4, 23.
Okay, so he's able to get out of the vines, but that's his turn.
You see he frees himself and he says, it will take more than that to hold down Palomon. And he holds up the spear, and then you see it begins to glow white hot as it becomes imbued with something. However, it is then Gary's turn.
Oh, fuck.
With Tony, can I make it to him?
Yes.
As soon as the horn blared, was like, Grace, come on! Bolt her on top of Tony with him.
Oh, well.
And we'll zoom right to Palomon to give him a little paralysis.
Ooh, okay, go for it.
All right, well, I get 2 attacks. The first one would be a 14. I don't think that would hit.
That hits. Wow! It just barely hits as you get atop Tony. Grizzly goes, oh my god! Whoa, hold up, I'm not seated correctly! And she tries to kind of adjust herself onto the saddle, and Tony just straight at him. You hold the rapier out, you like flick it out, and because it's a slightly more flexible blade, you see it going like boing, 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 and you just barely scrape across. Like, you would have missed, but because the blade was still bouncing a little bit, the point flicks down and cuts across his trap.
He must make a Constitution saving throw.
It was a 15 beat.
No.
Well, he's also going to take 8 damage from that.
You see, he takes the damage, but it looks so insignificant compared to perhaps what this man has been through.
Ooh.
So, because he failed the save, not only does he become paralyzed, but Gary, you can roll 2d8, and he takes that damage in poison as well.
Whoa. I guess he'll be fine. 9.
We see he goes, as he takes the initial hit. And then he turns around and he says, do you think that is all he would take? As you see him begin to sway and like his mouth kind of foams a little bit. And he lifts up the spear to go after you and then like falls onto the floor. And you see, this man is driven by so much hatred at this particular instance that he just like keeps kind of like dragging himself through the sand. Almost, it looks like against his own will. Just as you see his face begins to droop, and the paralysis spreads from that delt. I guess the tiny drop of poison going into the bloodstream getting redistributed through the heart. And you see actually like his face goes entirely numb. And he is dragging himself face first through the sand, the last bit of his body to become paralyzed being his left leg as it's kind of kicking him forward. And then he's just laying still in the sand. He looks like he's dead if it wasn't for like minor twitches in the eye trying to look around. Oh my God. And the other newbie going, what is happening? I don't know. What is this trickery?
He rears up Tony to go like, and like angles so that Grizz can get her good shot on whoever's next.
Okay. And you see she is one eye closed trying to line up her shot against the 3 entangled Anubai. Barb, it is your turn.
Oh, fire. And how far are they?
They are 60 feet away.
I'm gonna attack with the crossbow.
Okay. With advantage. So who are you shooting? There are 3 that are still entangled and Paluman who is paralyzed on the floor.
If Paluman's already on the floor, I'll go after Denoris, I guess, whichever one is next.
Okay, Denoris is next.
It's a 19 to hit.
A 19 hits.
Fabulous.
Roll for damage.
Okay.
And they will roll a Constitution saving throw.
13.
You loose this crossbow. Paluman has just fallen to the floor. He is still dragging himself. He hasn't quite reached that point of full paralysis yet. And already the crossbow bolt flies through and actually spears Denoris in the stomach, dealing a substantial amount of damage already.
Plus 2d8s.
They're basically shirtless, and you see black veins begin to spread across the stomach as the poison seeps in. Please roll 2d8.
Okay. That's a 6. And that's an 8, baby.
You see the blood spilling out of Denoris' abdomen a little bit as she looks around going, what is happening? And Denoris falls to her knees, and then the head kind of slumps forward as they become paralyzed, but like they stay sitting up almost as the weight has been distributed perfectly for them to stay like in this kneeled position.
May I take my additional action on this turn?
If you are allowed to, you may.
I think so. It's on my sheet.
Okay, if you can take another action, you may take your action.
Cool. Now I want to shoot Maruda.
Okay.
Maruda Bahama. Come on, pretty mama.
Maruda looks down at Denoris and then up to Paluman, who has finished his twitching, and goes, this is not good. This is not good. Takes their glaive and begins to chop the vines. However, Barb, you already have them in your sights.
Oh, no, you don't.
I think you also get advantage on this one as well,
shit.
since it's...
Okay.
You see, all of this has happened in like 2 seconds so far. This is like instantaneous. And already, like it having just started, the entire arena is just going like, yeah! They're like, this is a show, yeah.
So I don't know how much better it can get, but that first one was a 24.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Once again, a 13.
Maruda also fails the Constitution save. These are bad rolls, guys. They have good saves.
Is this gonna be a clean sweep?
The bolt goes flying through the air. Maruda sees it coming, brings a glaive up, and in slow motion, as we see the bolt flying, they actually hit the bolt in the air, breaking it in half. But they break it in half once the bolt is already past the tip of the blade. And so the tip keeps traveling and lodges like shrapnel into their shoulder.
Just the tip.
And they likewise just... they kind of take the glaive and like with the tip, they don't stab themselves, but they like put it against the head of the bolt, trying to pry it out of their body. No, this is not...
What was that? One more time? For the people in the
Failing to remove the bolt, seeing the black veins spreading across their shoulder and torso, you see they actually just fall straight backwards, like their knees still pointing up because they're held in place by the vines, but their body lying horizontal against the ground. And Bredensley looks up. Jessica, you recognize Bredensley is like the least experienced of the Anubai, one of the youngest. It is then Bredensley's turn. Viper, once they are out, can they do anything to try and wake up from the poison?
No, once they've failed the save, they're poisoned for 24 hours or until I, with my tattoo, help them.
Whoa. So you just see the occasional body just going as they twitch in the sand. Bredensley, seeing that his brethren's folly was being unable to move and effectively dodge attacks, is going to desperately follow Paluman's lead and try to free himself.
Mm-hmm.
Does a 16 save?
Yes.
And he breaks out of the vines because... For the ancestors! As he raises a glaive as well, and you see it begin to glow with this light as he kind of twirls it in the air. And it seems to, as you see these elaborate movements, you see that the glaive now has a tendency to always be pointing towards one of you. But that is all he can do as it becomes Monique's turn.
Go Monique, go Monique, go Monique.
Okay, Monique rolls a nat 20.
Let's go!
She is kind of walking forward, so it kind of looks like in Zelda when you're going to throw your melee weapon, where she's walking with the pen dagger backwards and then launches it forward. And then you see it begins to twirl through the air. The pen dagger lodges into his thigh, actually. Ah! No! As he he rips the dagger out. No! He's patting it, trying to squeeze the poison out, and it does not seem that he got poisoned.
Okay.
Thomas, it's your turn.
All right. I will use this poison vial on you, Bredensley, for your transgressions from long ago.
Okay, what are you coating with the poison?
Or are you just throwing it at him,
I'm
splashing
just gonna force feed him it, you know?
You will have to spend a turn getting next to him, unless you can cast a spell to get you there quickly.
Yeah, hop on Popcorn and head over there.
So you use Popcorn's turn to zoom you there, and then I guess I'm gonna say roll a strength contest to see if you can overpower Bredensley and just force the vial down his throat.
18.
17.
Oh my god!
Describe this, Thomas.
I'm gonna hop off of Popcorn like an Assassin's Creed with the vial in my hand, and I'm gonna, with my bony hand, grab his jaw, drop it open, and shove the vial right down. Go, eat it.
Jesus. Stopper, just the whole vial, or are you pouring it, or are you just throwing the vial in his stomach?
No, just the poison. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
Oh my god.
No internal bleeding today. Yeah, and Thomas, you grab him. He goes, no.
Take your medicine.
Yeah, and literally giving a dog its medicine, you put your fingers into its gums. You see the little chihuahua teeth as you kind of open the mouth and then pull the stopper and shove the poison down his mouth.
Jesus.
He falls down to the ground. Goes,
This is the ancestors.
And now, all of them are just kind of sporadically twitching on the ground. And everyone, having seen this, they're clearly not dead, but everyone's kind of yeah.
Now that they're all paralyzed, Viper will drop the entangle so that the ones that were slightly up just flop to the floor.
Gary sheaths his rapier into Tony's saddle and looks up at the glass dome.
Viper will take the position that the previous team had taken when they were finished.
Monique kind of looks around, decides to follow your lead. She runs over, picks up her pen dagger, and will also kind of take that kneeling position.
Mm-hmm. Jessica will follow suit and take the kneeling position.
Barb will do the same.
As does Grisabeth.
Jessica's also very excited that she didn't have to expend any spell slots.
And then you see, there's an awkward silence in the air. And then you hear a voice reverberate out.
You are not yet done, Squadron 203.
The rules are until the last team is standing.
As you can see, we are standing.
We're technically kneeling, but we are standing.
We have incapacitated the other team.
The crowd goes dead silent. It is still. There is tension in the air. Levi's looking down at you like through the glass. The matron is not even looking. She is like reclined in her chair in Jarl's pose. She is totally chill. Saxon is looking down. His face kind of scrunches up a little bit. He has just the thickest forearms you've ever seen. Places them on either armrest, goes to stand, and you see the matron puts a hand over his. And he turns, and you see the matron begins to whisper something in his ear. As she is whispering, you just see Levi staring down going, I said you were fucking funny, man!
Bob starts laughing too.
Yeah, Viper will laugh too. Does the crowd like start laughing awkwardly?
The crowd is not laughing.
Even better.
Squadron 14, do you have anything to say about this?
I don't think they really can.
Like, but barely. Like they can barely even growl. Are you all just leaving them there in the sand?
For now, yes.
Kinda.
He kind of turns away, like stops projecting his voice and looks towards Saxon and the matron. The matron has finished whispering, and there is awkward tension in the air. Off in the stands, you see Terry and the adventurers kind of like holding up thumbs up.
The telepathic bond is still open, and you just hear Viper going like, "Fuck! Oh my god! Fuck! I'm so nervous
It's
right now."
okay. We're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be okay.
And with that, I'm gonna say a tense, like 3 minutes pass.
Damn.
As you see the orcs talking amongst themselves. And this time, finally, you see Saxon stand from his chair. You can, like, almost hear his footsteps, even though he's high above on the platform, as his bare feet press down on the glass surface. And all of a sudden, you hear a... as he leaps down off the platform and onto the sand in front of you.
Very Donkey Kong of you, sir.
And this towering red orc with just the thickest, corded, densest packed old man muscle you've ever seen in your life
Work, Daddy.
looks down on you with a scowl.
Squadron 203, come with me.
Gary will hop off Tony and pet Palumen, good boy, and follow the red orc.
Bob's gonna get up and just say field trip in her head for everyone else to hear.
And Viper will stand and follow Barbara.
You all walk out as you see there are a number of the other 5 younger orcs that you had seen before. One of them, which you recognize who was the guy that you spoke to at the end of your trial yesterday, seems to go out and begin to start dragging some of the Anubai off to the sidelines. You hear Levi's voice bellowing out saying,
Apologies, everyone, for the circumstances we find ourselves in. We will be proceeding momentarily once we clear the arena.
and that kind of fades into the distance as you go out through the domed entranceway. You are seeing this dude who is just nothing but muscle leading you straight through, stepping. You see his imprints in the sand as he walks. Finally, he leads you out just outside of the Colosseum, still doesn't turn to face you, and then finally takes 2 firm steps to turn around and look down on all of you. Especially for the more vertically challenged members of our group, it's very down. And you can just hear he's like,
Why?
No need to kill someone when you don't have to.
But really, why?
Well, incapacitation is defeat in its own sense, and as you can see here, it was much quicker than if we had to continue to chip away at the
You're talking, and he kind of turns around and checks out of your conversation. Like halfway through your sentence, there's a palm tree, and he takes a fist and punches through it. Half of the trunk falls off, and you see then the tree just kind of falls.
Okay.
We were simply demonstrating that there are always alternative methods than what you may initially see.
Without turning around, still staring at the tree, fist still balled, he says,
Do you intend to ever drop your disguise?
No.
At that point, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it.
Are you positive? Do you want to talk about
Jessica's gonna drop the disguise and go, yeah, we were just trying to show that it's not always violence and absolute power as the answer.
As your voice changes with the dropping of the disguise, he does that thing where he turns his head over his shoulder, and you see the little Thanos smirk, But then as he looks at you, Jessica, he does seem to register just a little bit of surprise.
I'll admit, you got past us. But the soldiers of the solstice were created to give anyone a chance at a fresh start. Is it truly your aim to join our forces?
Would we go through all of this if it wasn't?
At this point, he does fully turn to face you and looks you all over, seeming to emulate some of the skills his mom has, but perhaps less practiced.
In the interest of moving things along, I would like to offer you the final trial tonight. Are you ready for this?
Tonight,
He nods,
if that is what must be done.
and he begins to walk back toward the Colosseum.
This has been Your Honor. Your Honor features the vocal talents of Nicholas Benetatos as Gary Mogbile, Amanda Fernandez-Acosta as Barbara, Nicholas Palazzo as Thomas Phelps, Michael Pisani as Jessica Feltcher, and Hannah Schooner as Viper. The rest of the world is voiced by your DM, Giancarlo Herrera, with editing by Hannah Schooner and Giancarlo Herrera, and sound design by Giancarlo Herrera. If you'd like to support the show, consider checking out the links in the show notes, or go to patreon.com/Drimbus, where you can get access to hours of bonus content, exclusive merch, the chance to play with the crew, or submit items to the show, or have NPCs named after you. Oh, and don't forget to leave a review or make a post using #Drimbus to be entered for the chance to win a free Dungeons & Drimbus sticker. Thank you all so much for listening, and I do declare we'll see you all next week.